Hello, my name is Chris Griffin. The week of September 7th, I was invited to interview Dulcie Klusman, who worked at Bletchley Park during World War II, cracking in part the Nazi Enigma Code. This was not to be the formal interview. This was only to be a pre-interview, but it turned into the interview when I asked Dulcie why she's waited so long to tell her story. Enjoy.
Well, I don't know. I guess I've been a wanderer and I haven't been home or, in England that people were interested. And over here, I think not too many people heard about Bletchley Park until it came on in the series, but that was, a lot of it was fake. It wasn't true.
Yeah, because the park came into many Americans' awareness through the Imitation Game, which was released last year.
Yes. I didn't actually see it, but I heard more about it and read about it. But, a lot of people over here had never heard of anything like that, so I didn't bother to follow it. It's so long ago, and with my memory, I've got memory problems.
Well, Dulcie, if you don't mind me asking, would you tell me a little about your life before you started to work at Bletchley Park?
Yes, I was born in Hammersmith, London, and then my father was on the Great Western Railroad as a fireman, firing up the engine, and we moved to Wembley, bought a nice house there, and I went to school in Alperton, and then from there, when the war broke out, they conscripted the women, for Bletchley Park. Mm-hmm. So that's how come I had to leave home and go and live with a couple with their 2 children. I mean, she didn't want me there, and I didn't want to go there, but we became wonderful friends, and when I decided to get married, they, even though it was rationing, they had a wedding cake made for me. So I had 2 wedding cakes. My mother got one, and my adopted family felt enough of me that I should have one of their wedding cakes. So they planned one too. And
when you were conscripted to go to Bletchley Park, did you know what you were getting into?
No. It was all highly secretive, and they wouldn't tell me anything.
But shortly after your arrival, Bletchley Park, then it was referred to as Station X.
Yes, Station X.
You met with incredible success, but you couldn't tell anybody.
No.
How?
Highly secretive. Even my mother and dad didn't know what I was doing. I just lied through my teeth, and told them a story that, I'm comfortable in the billet. It's not like home, but, and then I'm just doing office work, and you know how that is. I never did like office work, and made humor out of it.
Mm-hmm. But you did much more than office work.
Yeah.
Are there things you still can't talk about to this day?
I would never, ever give anyone where I was working, the destination, where it was at, or anything. It's so highly secretive.
Even though you were a civilian employee and not military?
Even my own mother and dad never got to know exactly, Well, they knew where I was at. They knew Bletchley, but they didn't know what work I was doing.
At the time, did you realize the work you were doing was of such importance? Because as I understand it, you were reading messages even before the German High Command.
Yes, no. And the thing was, you couldn't do much about it because it wasn't the whole thing. Like in our department, it was just the preamble. In other words, the top 2 lines of the message. And by decoding that, you had to decide where to send it. Put it in that tube and send it to Army, Navy, Air Force. And it was up to you to get that at the right place at the right time. Because if you sent it somewhere where it shouldn't have been, maybe a whole ship would go down. We were responsible for the lives of the men.
Did that weigh on you, knowing you bore the responsibility of those men?
It did at first, But, I don't know, as I stayed there long enough and got to know, the ropes and that, and you knew how to keep your mouth shut, but still, mixing with people, whether they were neighbors of the people I was living with, like if the neighbor dropped in and said, well, how do you like working at Bletchley Park, and what do you do there, And then I'd go from there and say, it isn't much. I just am given this piece of paper and there's something there that might interest me. And I told a whole bunch of lies, just to get by.
You mentioned Churchill's praise for Bletchley Park. Did he ever visit while you were there?
Yes, he did. I didn't get to see him personally, but I knew that he was there because it's something to do with the flag, I think. Mm. Did they lower or right? Something to do with the flag. Somebody important is here. So I checked around. They said, Winnie. I said, Winston Churchill. I said, he's here? Yeah. So I briefly got to see him walking from one place to another. And I never got to talk to him.